What is going on, beautiful people? Today, we're going to be talking about some of the most important numbers in narcissism, the numbers and percentages that you will cover in narcissism. 5 of the most important statistics of narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder. If you're new here, my name is Lee Hammock. I'm a self-aware narcissist, and welcome to another episode of the Narcissist Code. So boom, welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Yes. Numbers in narcissism. I've been thinking about doing this episode for a while, y'all, with some of the most important numbers and statistics that people talk about when it comes to dealing with narcissism in general, narcissistic personality disorder in general and whatnot, because the numbers can vary. And these are not gonna be exact numbers, y'all. These are estimates. A lot of these are estimates right here. One of them is going to be exact, but a lot of these are estimates and whatnot. So the very first number that we're going to cover is the percentage of people that are diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. They did a study on from the National Institute of Health, where it says 6.2% out of over 34,000 people tested were diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. So that's kind of coincides with the studies that you've seen previously of between 0 and 5%. So it's a little bit around there, give or take 6% of the population in this study had narcissistic personality disorder. So it says 34,653 adults were tested, and 6.2% of them came back with narcissistic personality disorder. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you start going on the macro scale of things, 6%, 5% of the population of the world, y'all, is a lot of people. People keep trying to make it seem like that's a very small number. And that's just diagnosed, y'all. So non-diagnosed narcissists are going to be even higher. You see what I'm saying? So just because somebody hasn't been diagnosed does not mean that you haven't dealt with a narcissist. You know, narcissists rarely go get diagnosed. So just because you haven't dealt with a diagnosed narcissist like myself doesn't mean that you haven't encountered a narcissist in your life. You know what you dealt with. You know the behaviors you've experienced. You know the gaslighting, the manipulation, all of these tactics, the lack of empathy. You understand it. You've been through it. You survived it, right? So you know what you've been through. You're a survivor of narcissistic toxic abuse. You understand what you've been through. Because people keep making it seem like, 1% of the population. I've heard 1% as well. 1% of the population is diagnosed with narcissistic person. Yeah, even if it's 1%, 1% of 7 billion is still millions and millions of people. 7 billion. You see what I'm saying? 1% of 7 billion is a lot of people. It just is. What's 1% of 7 billion? 1% of 7 billion is 70 million. That's going to be my guess. 70 million narcissists worldwide. So even in the United States, 1% of 330 million, 6%, 5%, those are large numbers. So in case people try to invalidate you and say, only 1% or 5% of the population is narcissists, that's still a lot of people. Stop letting people gaslight you and make you seem like 1% is a small number. 1% of 1 is small, but 1% of a billion, if I give you, I give you 1%, I give you 1% of this $1 bill, you'll be like, hey, keep the penny. But if I say, not $1 bill, this $1 billion bill, 1%. You're like, give me. You say, give me. You see what I'm saying? People, perspective matters right there, y'all. Perspective matters. The second number I have down is 7. 7. The second number is 7 because that's the average number of times it takes somebody to leave. The average number of times it takes a victim of domestic violence or narcissistic abuse, toxic relationship dynamics, it takes them an average of 7 times to leave and stay gone for good. That's an average, y'all. I know you know the numbers of averages. You know the averages. So if we have 2 people here, and it could take somebody one time, you could be one and done, and it could take the next person 13 times to leave or more. But let's say it takes one person one time, takes the other person 13 times. 13 plus 1 is 14. Divided by 2, you get the average of 7. Those numbers can vary, y'all. Like I said, it could take somebody, you know what I mean? Some people don't get into relationships. Some people last longer. Some people stay longer. Sometimes it takes more than 13 times. Sometimes way less. but 7 is the average number of times. So if you left and went back one time, don't beat yourself over the head. Now, so don't take this as an excuse like, oh, I left and went back one time, so I got 6 more times. Let's get it. No. You want to we trying to bring this average down right here. We're not trying to increase this average. We're trying to bring the average down. So you want to be one of the ones that 1, 2, 3 times maybe. Don't want to be one of the ones 13, 14, 15, 16 times. Hell no. You see what I'm saying? You want to keep the number low. That's why you empower yourself. That's why you're watching videos like this to get the knowledge, to get to realize what you're going through, to realize what you experience. That's why you're watching this video. That's why you're growing. That's why you're joining support groups. I have a support group called the Mental Healers. You can find it at courses.mentalhealness.net. You can check that out. My support group and my courses over at mentalhealness.net. But yes, that's part of it right there, y'all. 7 times to leave for good. For good. To be done. And that, like I said, the higher the number, the more it benefits the narcissist. The higher that number, the more the narcissist benefits from it. All right. So the next important number I have on here, the third one, is 700%. Lee, how do you go from 7 to 700%? You're 700% more likely to be unalived by your partner if they put their hands on your throat and squeeze. If they strangle you, they're 700% more likely to unalive you. 700%. So if they strangled you, they put their hands on your throat and squeeze in a non-consensual way. I know some of y'all like the little freaky freak. I know some of y'all like the little Lee. I like a little hand around the throat. That's different. That's consensual. But even if it's consensual, they can take it above and beyond. They can violate your consensual boundaries in that space right there. But some people, like I said, if it goes above and beyond this space, like 700% more likely to take your life. Even if it's an accident. There are so many people who say, oh, they wouldn't do that to me. They wouldn't do that. I don't think they would do that. They will. If they hit you, and they strangle you, they are 700% more likely to take your life. So going back into a toxic relationship dynamic where they put their hands in your throat and squeeze and cut off your airflow, or maybe you've blacked out, they are over 700% more likely to take you out of here, to send you to meet your maker, to leave your kids with one less parent, or two less parents if they take your life and then they go to jail or they take their own life. You see? 700%. And this is not me trying to victim blame. I'm just bringing the number to you so you can understand it, you can see it. So you know how real it is when they put their hands around here and they try to take you up out of here. I don't care. Look, and this is the part right here. I feel like I got to do some cussing here, so buckle up. I don't give a fuck what excuse they gave for strangling you. Fuck them. You know what I mean? You don't deserve to be strangled. No. I don't care what the excuse they gave. Oh, I just lost my mind. You get me so angry. No. That's me looking directly at you. I want you to be as safe as possible. I want you to leave and escape. If you so choose to leave and escape, I want you to be as safe as possible when you so choose to do that, okay? The fourth number I have right down here is 5. The number 5. I know we're bouncing around. We went from the percent diagnosed to 7 times to leave to 700% more likely to 5. Leave 5 what? It takes 5 out of the 9 traits to be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. You don't have to. There's 9 diagnosable traits of narcissistic personality disorder, right? There's 5. You see what I'm saying? What R&D? I should have had this up there, shouldn't I? Like, Lee, what are you doing? What are you doing, Lee? You should have had that up. You should have already had that up. But I'm not gonna read all of the list. You can Google the list. But it only takes 5, y'all. You don't have to have 9 out of 9 to be diagnosed as a narcissist. 5, interchangeable. 5 out of 9. You don't have to have all 9 to be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. You can have all 9. All it takes is 5 of these markers. You have to meet 5 of the traits of this criteria to be clinically diagnosed with NPD. And just because you only have 4 or 3 doesn't mean that you're not a toxic person. If you're manipulative and have a lack of empathy and you have delusions of grandeur and you're abusive as hell, you see what I'm saying? You have an exploitative personality where you exploit people. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't mean you're a good person. Like 5 out of 9 is all it takes. 5 out of 9, not $5 footlongs. 5 to be clinically diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. It doesn't seem like a lot, does it? I know people are just like, well, you have to have 9 traits. No, you don't. 5 out of 9 to be clinically diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. And the crazy thing about NPD is typically it can be comorbid with a lot of other disorders. So you can have NPD plus something else, right? You have NPD plus this, NPD plus that, NPD plus this. I have NPD plus general anxiety disorder plus some schizoid traits plus clinical depression. I got a lot of stuff going on in my mind. I seem like I'm well put together, but I'm rattling around on the inside. There's a marble shaking around in here, going crazy within my mind. And the last number I have, the last number I have is a range, 11 to 13. The 5th number I have is 11 to 13. Like, what the hell is that? 11 to 13 is typically the emotional age of a narcissist. Even if they are 60 years old, their emotional age is between 11 and 13 years old. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy, isn't it? 11, that's why it seems like you're talking to a teenager or a kid sometimes. That's why when you're arguing with a narcissist, like they say and do childish things. They behave in a very childlike manner, like act like a teenager. Like, you're like, what the hell is wrong with you? Be an adult, grow up. Just because their body gets older, they might grow up. They might be extremely educated. They might have an extremely high intellect. It doesn't mean having a high intellect doesn't necessarily correlate to having high emotional intelligence. It doesn't always, like I said, correlate to having a high emotional age. You still be emotionally stunted. A lot of narcissistic toxic people, a lot of narcissistic people have, experienced arrested development where they had some type of trauma in their younger days that made them a narcissist. They created the narcissist that you were dealing with. They created the highly narcissistic person that you're dealing with. Whatever age they got hurt at, whatever age they got traumatized at, that's typically the age that they are emotionally. It could be younger than 11 and 13. It could be a little bit older, but it typically is around 11 between 11 and 13, or it could be younger. You could be dealing with an emotional 7 or 8 year old. You could be married to a 65-year-old rocket scientist, and they still have the emotional age. Would still be emotionally between 11 and 13 years old or younger. This happens, y'all. This is a different dynamic. This is a unique video I did too. I just had this idea. Let me do the numbers of narcissism. If there's any numbers I missed or something I could do a part 2, drop some numbers in the comment section that you think are important. These were just the ones I said. I thought were important. I was just thinking of numbers, and these are the first 5 I wrote down. I know there could be more. If I missed the number that you think is important that can help people, I will put it in a part 2. I could absolutely put it in the part 2. But anyways, y'all, thank y'all for making it to the end of this video. Y'all know I truly appreciate every single thing y'all do for me. As much as y'all think you learn from me, I learn even more from you, which is why I'm asking you for advice. Drop them numbers in the comment section for me. You know what I mean? I appreciate every single one of y'all. I'm super grateful for you. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as we inch closer towards 500,000 people, which is crazy to me. Drop them in the comment section. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Mental Healness is out. Peace. Thank you so much for making it to the end of my video. I am extremely grateful for you. Have no idea. If you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Helps reach more people. And click on the screen to watch another video or to browse through another playlist. There's also a link on the screen to check out my courses and my support groups to help you heal and understand what you've been through. Thank you so much again. I will see you in the next video. Peace.